Hello dear students, welcome to part 2 of the video series on equality. Uh, so in the last video I said that this is going to be a 3-part series, but looking at the content and the uh, need for the depth in discussions, it seems that I have to extend this video series in 4 parts. So this is part 2, there will be, I guess there will be 2 more parts. So first is that today we are going to discuss about absolute or literal equality, like like everybody is equal in all terms. So should all material goods, entire national income, or all educational opportunities available in society should be equally distributed among all members of society? So it's a good question to ask. So last time I told you that the average monthly income of an Indian is 3,000 rupees to 5,000 rupees, somewhere in between that. So if we make literal equality, then everybody earns 3,000 rupees. So again, everybody is poor. Now in 3,000 you cannot set up industries or factories, correct? And if you say that a lot of people can come together to establish one factory or industry, again it is a huge endeavor. It's very difficult for so many people to cooperate, correct? And should all material goods be equally distributed? So like then looking at the population density of our country, again it will become very difficult, no, like for people to live. And last is all educational opportunities. So again, like every year how lakhs of students give examination for IIT JEE entrance exam. Sorry. Yeah. So will we be able to equally accommodate all the students in the IITs? No, because we have like 121 crore people, I think 125 crore now, and only maximum 8 to 10,000 seats in IITs. So again, that becomes a huge issue. So all this leads to this conclusion that absolute or literal equality is, if not impossible, very difficult to achieve in the society. We will always have some kind of inequality, and then we'll have to discuss, in spite of such a reality, how can we implement more and more equality in the society. So there is a person called R.H. Tawney. He has written this book called Equality in 1938. There is this quote from his book: different kinds of energy need different conditions to evoke them, and the sentiment of justice is satisfied not by offering to every man identical treatment, but by treating different individuals in the same way, insofar as being human, they have requirements which are the same, and in different ways, insofar as being concerned with different services, they have requirements which differ. Correct? So it says that all of us are humans and all of us share some basic needs. So some of us might, all of us need food, water, shelter, love and affection from our close ones. We need dignity and security in life. We need a sense of purpose. So all of us need all these things. So all of these things should be given equally to all people. Correct? All of us should get food equally. Now, but there are certain conditions in which some people will need different things, correct? So, for example, during pregnancy, a pregnant mother might need a more nutritious food, a little more food, correct? A person who works 8 hours a day as physical laborer, they will need more and more, no more amount and more nutritious food compared to a person who works only 2 hours a day and does mental labor. So we need to take into perspective these different needs, and then we can treat everybody equally but differently. So, for example, while a family of two people will only need a 1 or 2 BHK house, but a family of six, where you have two grandparents, two parents, and two children, they will need a more bigger house. So, if the state has to give houses to people, it will do accordingly. Correct. So that is the essence here. Now there is something called the paradox of equality. Okay, so what is this paradox? So that almost everyone accepts the ideal of equality, yet almost everywhere we encounter inequality. So if we talk to anybody, they will support equality. Everybody wants equality. They talk about equality, but still all over the world, wherever we go, we see lots of inequality. So that is the paradox. Now, inequality. So, Aristotle, like I had mentioned in the earlier slides, Aristotle says that treat unequals unequally. Correct? So, people who are unequal, we need to give them different treatment. So, the picture I showed you, a tall guy does not need any support to watch the match in the stadium, while a small guy will need some podium on which they can stand and watch the match. Correct? So we cannot treat unequals equally, because then it is unfair. So, for example, if the school decides that they will give all children 500 rupees as scholarship, then for a rich person that 500 rupees means nothing. Those people, the rich children, they spend more than 500 rupees in a single day. That means nothing for them. Correct? But uh, for a middle class child, that 500 rupees might mean something. They will go and buy some stationery or toys or whatever. So they will find some value. But for a poor child, that 500 rupees will mean a lot. They might take that money and give it to their parents so they can buy something to eat and something to cover themselves with. Correct? So these 500 rupees do not have the same value for all these three different children. So in this case, even if we do not give anything to the first child, then they won't feel the difference. Giving 500 rupees to a middle class child might need lead to some better performance, but it might also lead to them buying some distractions like computer games or something. But for a poor child, this 100 rupees, 500 rupees can actually increase their performance, because then they won't have to go and work in somebody's house or something to earn money and support their family. They can use that 500 rupees to support their family on themselves, and they can devote more of their time to studies. So that is why we need to treat unequal people differently. But then the question comes up, so what kind of unequal treatment should be allowed? So, and what should not be allowed? So, if you look at unacceptable mm, differential treatment, then if you discriminate people on the basis of their caste, class, gender, race, sex, ethnicity, then that is problematic. If you say that people from northeast, they are not Indians, they are Chinese, you make fun of them, then that is wrong. If you call a person from Africa as a, as a black guy, you make fun of their skin color, then that differentiation is wrong. That is unacceptable. If you say that girls and boys in a family should be treated unequally because girls are lesser than boys, then that is wrong. Correct? If you say that upper caste people should only be hired for a job because lower class caste or lower class people are undeserving, then again that is wrong, correct? But what kind of discrimination can be acceptable? So again, based on the same thing, if you say that lower caste people should be given reservation, then somewhere that makes sense, because lower caste people have been discriminated for thousands of years. They still do not enjoy equal status in the society. uh, there are still a lot of biased people who will not hire a lower caste person. So their representation on important positions like government servants or politicians is very less. So we need to make sure that they get proper representation. That is why we can have some kind of positive discrimination. Now, gender. So again, uh, there can be certain schemes which favor girl children. So you can distribute free bicycles to girls, or like what happened in Delhi, free metros for women. So again, one might say that it is unequal, but it is not unfair, because women have always been constrained to the four walls of their house. So if the government wants that women should also enjoy public spaces like men, then they need to give some incentive to both the families and the women so that they can come out. Correct? So that is why some kind of positive gender discrimination can be allowed. Now, all human beings are entitled to the same rights and opportunities to develop their skills and talents and to pursue their goals and ambitions. So everybody has the right to develop their skills and become what they want to become. And if somebody is getting stopped due to some historical inequalities or social inequalities, then the state needs to do a little more for them in order to make them equal to others. Now, if one becomes an engineer and another person becomes a doctor, is it inequality? So no, it is not inequality. It is based on their choice. If somebody decides to be an engineer, it is their choice. If somebody becomes a doctor, it is their choice. Correct? But if you start, but if the society starts treating one person with respect, and while they discriminate against the other person just because of their job, then it becomes inequality. Correct? So if somebody decides to become a janitor, and somebody decides to become a scientist, both should be treated with respect in society. Correct? So if we discriminate based on their jobs, then it becomes inequality. Now, equality in access to basic needs. So in this case, we need to make sure that everybody has equal access to basic needs like food, water, shelter. So that is why in developed countries you have free healthcare and free education, because education and healthcare are very basic services, and everybody should be able to afford them, because without good health and good education, nobody can achieve their dreams and ambitions, and they cannot hone their skills. Correct? So that is why we need equality in those areas. Now last is natural versus social inequality. So natural inequality is that which emerge between people as a result of their different capabilities and talents. Correct? So some people are strong, some people are weak, some people are more intelligent, some people are less intelligent. Correct? So those inequalities are natural, and we somewhere assume that natural differences cannot be altered. Correct? Some people are strong. We cannot do, like, in order for a weak person to become strong, we can do workouts and all, but still that natural gap remains. Social inequalities emerge as a consequence of inequalities of opportunity or exploitation of some group by others. Correct? So if there is social inequality in the society, then those inequalities are not natural, those are created by the society. So valuing those who perform intellectual work over those who do manual work. Correct? Like I was saying, if somebody is a janitor and we do not respect them, while we respect the scientist, then that inequality is created socially. Now, knowing this will help distinguish between acceptable and unfair inequality in society. So Uh, Also, some social inequalities, is continued for long period of time, they start to appear like natural inequalities, correct? So if women were not given education for hundreds of years, so now when we allow women to come to schools, they will take some time to get used to all this competition and this inequality. So we cannot say that, oh, women are less intelligent compared to men, because women have been discriminated for hundreds of years. Same is the case with black people. They have been treated like slaves for hundreds of years. So that historical trauma still remains inside them. And we cannot say that they are less because we have not treated them fairly enough. Now, also many natural differences are no longer unalterable, correct? We can repair our hearing loss with hearing aids and our eyesight loss with glasses, correct? Therefore, there is a need to differentiate between equality arising from our choices and inequalities operating on account of birth, correct? So, poverty and lower caste is not something which is because of our birth, it is something the society gives us. Poverty is something that comes out of the inequality in society, not inequality in nature. So with this, I will end this lecture here. In the next lecture, we'll discuss about the three dimensions of inequality.